Hi, I'm Adrian from Inspiratrix Yoga. Today's practice will be a very beginner-friendly practice where we'll focus on some shoulder openings, some relaxation poses, and there will be a few abs, but feel free to skip those if they're not for you. Enjoy. So good morning. For today's class, you will need, apart from your mat, something to sit on if you need some elevation for the hips, blocks, blankets, rolled up mat, they all work great. If you can also have a strap handy and a blanket handy, that would also be good because we will do some breathing exercises using blanket. So we'll start off with the blanket. And the blanket, if you have one, is underneath the armpits, hands in front as much as possible. And what I want you to do for the first few breaths is really just to notice the sensation in the blanket and your hands as you take a breath in and a breath out without changing anything to do with the breath at all. Feeling for the hands widening, slightly parting as you take a breath in. And that coming together as you exhale. Doing this without any trying to change anything or judging anything as being right or wrong. As you're doing this, ground through the sit bones, however way you're sitting. Feel the hips grounding into the mat or the floor or the block underneath you or the chair underneath you. Tuning in to any sensations that are around you, sounds, temperatures, vibrations, senses of other people or animals. Also tuning in to things beyond that physical sensation. Thoughts, feelings. And now bring awareness, physical, direct awareness to the breath. And start off with the goal of, on the in-breath, the hands moving apart more. Feeling a tension against the blanket, a resistance against the blanket as your ribs expand. And on the exhale, a gentle gathering of the belly in, being conscious of that last 10% of the exhale. And then just before you take in an inhale, let the belly relax and soften so that you're making room for an even bigger breath in. Feel that sending the breath into the front of the ribs, underneath the hands in front. Tuning into that rising and falling of the hands, that movement of the blanket. And the ripple of motion that that breath sends through the body. You might be able to feel it in the neck, the shoulder blades, the pelvic floor, maybe even the legs, the feet. Next, bringing awareness to the side ribs, the bits that are by your elbows. Sending breath to that area, using the breath to massage the body from the inside. And finally, bringing your awareness and attention to the back of the ribs. Sending the breath there. Getting the movement there. And then remove the blanket. As you move the blanket away, keep that sense of breathing fully into the rib cage. Feeling for being able to connect to that breath and connect to the subtle sensations associated with that breath. And for the rest of the class, seeing if you can keep that connection going. Now, it is going to go away. The attention's going to wander. But bringing it back to getting a full breath into the ribcage area as we go through this practice. Seated spinal twist. Sit comfortably in cross-legged or in a chair if that works for you today. Lengthen the spine on the inhale, lifting the bottom ribs away from the hips, lifting the middle ribs away from the bottom ribs, and lifting the top ribs away from the middle ribs. That sounds really complicated, but it's the idea of almost your torso being a spring and you're lengthening through that spring. And on the exhale, let the shoulders come down, let the shoulder blades come down. But keeping the neck long, keeping the head high. Take your left hand and bring it gently onto the right knee. Take a huge breath in, relaxing the belly, making space for that breath to come in. On the exhale, take your right hand behind you and come into a twist to the right hand side. Inhale, lift the collarbones up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, bring the shoulders and shoulder blades down the back. In this twist, focus on getting a full breath into the lungs. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit compressed because you're in this twist. But even in this twist, working on getting that breath in. Come back to the center. Keeping with the deep breath, keeping with that full breath. Keeping with that lengthening in the body. Take the right hand, put it onto the left knee. Take a big breath in, relaxing the belly, sending as much breath into the belly and the ribs as you can take in. Exhale, turn to the left-hand side. Take the other hand, place it behind you on the floor, or on a block if you're sitting up elevated, or on the back of a chair if you're sitting in a chair. Keep the chin in line with the chest. This isn't about turning the neck, it's about getting a lengthening and turn in the torso. Inhale, come back to the middle. And exhale, relax the jaw, the face, the eyes, the forehead, all those places where we store tension unnecessarily. Come into a forward bend. This forward bend starts by creating length in the body. So on the inhale, lengthen the spine up towards the ceiling. Again, imagining that spring. Exhale, and hinging at the hips, come forwards. Bringing the hands onto the floor in front of you or the knees in front of you. If you're seated, bring the hands on your lap. Inhale into the low back. Exhale, bring the shoulders and shoulder blades down the back. If it feels good, you can let the neck relax and bring the chin down towards the chest. If that doesn't feel good in your neck, keep the head in a neutral position. Take a huge breath in, send it into the low back area, massaging that area. Exhale, release the tension out of that area and use that to come a little bit deeper into the forward bend. Inhale and slowly make your way back up. And exhale, shoulders down. And take a couple of breaths now in this seated position. Again, feeling for sending as much breath into the chest, into the ribs as you can. And work on making that as effortless as possible. Not gasping for air, not holding, tensing. The trick to getting a big breath in is to actually relax as much as possible and let the diaphragm do the work. Abdominals. But before we do abs, actually, let's find your strap. We'll lie down on the back. So let's work on opening the back of the legs and using the breath to wash through that area to help us take out some of that tightness in that area, and to do so without struggling. So take your strap and either make a loop in it or just loop it over your left foot. And inhale, lift the leg up. So the foot is over the hip. It's okay to bend the knee to make that happen. The other leg can have the foot on the floor with the knee bent, or you can take that leg out and straighten it out. But if that's tweaky in the low back or just feels a bit weird, bring the foot onto the floor. Wherever you have that other leg, I want you to press into the floor with either the foot or the heel so that the hip is active, the leg is active. Relax the shoulders and shoulder blades. Make as much work as the arms are doing. Just make that as effortless as you can. Inhale, send a breath all the way into the foot. Take your awareness into the foot. That's in the air. Exhale, press into the strap. Press with the ball of the foot. Inhale and relax the foot. Exhale, press through the heel. Let's go through a few more breaths with the hand up, with the leg up in the air. This is also a good spot. You can take the belt into one hand and use the other hand on the tight spots on the back of the leg. Massaging them, pressing into anything that feels like you could do with a little release there. Unhook the foot from the belt, bring the foot to the floor. Hook the strap around the foot on the other side. And bring that leg up into the air. Again, choosing what you want to do with the other leg, foot on the floor, or leg straight out. If the leg's straight out, press through the heel into the mat gently. If the foot's on the floor, press into the mat with the foot. So you're activating the hip muscles on both sides. Both legs are getting activation. So this isn't just working one side of the body. Inhale into the leg. Exhale, press through the ball of the foot. Another big breath in. Exhale, press through the heel. Take the strap into one hand. Use the other hand to seek out any tight spots. If it's all tight spots, then pick one spot that feels like you could do with a little bit of a release and press into that. Working the muscles, encouraging them to loosen out. Unhook the foot. Put the strap on one side. And we will do some leg dips. Leg dips. Lift the feet up off the floor. These are over the hips. The feet can be just dangling there for this. They don't need to be up in the air at all. Head and shoulders relaxed, upper body as relaxed as you can do it. Big breath into the hips, all the way down into the belly. Feel the tendency for the knees to move away from the chest a little bit, and bring it back in so that the knees are over the hips. Hold the breath gently, press the low back down. And on an exhale, send the left toes down towards the mat. Only going as far as you can go, keeping the low back pressed down. Inhale, gently bring the leg back up so the knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Hold the breath, press the low back down. On the exhale, right toes head down towards the mat. Again, only going as far as you can keep the low back pressed down. Inhale, knee comes back up. Hold the breath, press the low back down. Exhale, left toes down towards the mat. Gather the belly in as the toes move down. Inhale, leg comes up. Hold the breath, press the low back down. Exhale, right toes down towards the mat. Gathering the belly in as you do this. Inhale, leg comes up. Hold the breath, press low back down. Exhale, left toes down towards the mat. Keep pressing the low back down. Gather the belly in. And this time send the right knee gently up towards the ceiling. So there's awareness in the right leg as well. Inhale, leg comes up. Hold the breath, press low back down. Exhale, right toes go down towards the mat. Keep low back pressed down. Gather the belly in. And left knee up towards the ceiling gently. That's a lot to keep in mind. Inhale, come back to the center. Let's do 2 more rounds of that. Keeping awareness and pressing the low back down, gathering the belly in, and also gently sending the other knee up towards the ceiling. If you can't keep track of all these bits, don't worry about it. And when you've done all those, bring the feet down to the floor, bring the hands onto the belly, and take some resting breaths. Using the power of the breath to give the abs a massage from the inside. Next, we'll do elbow to knee without the elbows part. So for this one, the upper body stays on the floor. We'll just focus on the legs. So take a big breath in, hold the breath, press the low back into the mat, and curl the tailbone towards the ceiling. Exhale, left knee comes up towards the chest, pulling the belly down. Inhale, foot goes to the floor. Hold the breath, press low back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, right knee comes up towards the chest, pulling the belly down. Pull the knee up as far as it'll go on its own. Inhale, foot to the floor. Hold breath, press low back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, left knee comes up towards the chest, pulling the belly down. Inhale, foot to the floor. Hold breath, press low back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, right knee comes up towards the chest. Inhale, foot to the floor. If you want to up level this, we can use the head and shoulders part of this too. So if you want to do that, clasp your hands together, put them underneath the head. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders up off the floor an inch. Take a deep breath in. Hold breath, press low back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, left knee comes up, elbows go towards the left knee, pulling the belly down. Inhale back to center. Head and shoulders still that inch up off the floor. Hold the breath, press low back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows right, right knee comes up towards the chest, pulling the belly down. Inhale back to center. Hold breath, press low back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows left, left knee comes up towards the chest, pulling the belly down. Inhale back to center. Hold the breath, press low back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows right, right knee comes up towards the chest, pulling the belly down. Inhale, bring the foot to the floor, head and shoulders down to the floor. And bring the hands onto the belly and take some resting breaths into the belly. See if you, after doing these exercises, to tense up the abdomen, that you can now learn to relax it after that exercise. Learning to tense the muscles when they're needed, when the tension is needed, when that power is needed, and then learning to release them when it isn't needed anymore. Moving bridge. Set yourself up for bridge. Feet on the floor, hip distance apart, feet as parallel as they are, as you can get them without looking at them. For some people, it helps to brush the backs of the ankles to set the the feet distance between the hips. For other people, that doesn't work. Whichever way you're set up, ground the feet into the mat. Let the upper body relax. Arms by your side, palms facing up or facing down, whichever way feels comfortable. Take a huge breath in, filling the chest, filling the belly, sending it all the way down into the hips. Ground the feet into the mat. On the exhale, lift the hips up a couple of inches and gather the belly in as you do this. Inhale, let the hips come down, all the way down. Hold the breath, ground the feet into the mat. Exhale, lifting the hips up, gathering the belly in. Inhale, let the hips come down. Ground the feet, press into the mat. Exhale, lift the hips up. Inhale, let the hips come down. Let's do 2 more rounds like that. Focusing on grounding the feet into the mat and gathering the belly in on the exhale as the hips lift up. Windscreen wiper with the knees. So keeping the knees where they are. Start moving them gently from side to side. Starting off with a very small movement, maybe less than an inch from side to side. And making that movement bigger and bigger. Until you're going as far as feels good with this movement. Knees don't need to go anywhere near the floor for this. Just moving with the breath in whatever way feels good for you. Letting the upper body be as relaxed as it can be. And then the next time the knees roll over to the left-hand side, roll all the way onto your left-hand side. And slowly come up. Sun salutations. If you need padding for your knees, find a blanket to put underneath the knees, or you can put another mat over the top, or you can fold the edge of the mat over to protect the knees as well in a lunge. Standing at the front of the mat, the short end of the mat. Feel for lengthening the spine. Feel for the head being over the shoulders being over the hips being over the knees, and the knees being over the ankles. That's a lot to take in, that's a lot to think about. The easiest way to get into that position is to move into a place where you feel that there is minimal amount of effort needed to stand still. Bring the hands up in front of the chest. Take a huge breath in and exhale everything out. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, come into a forward bend. Doing this slowly and gently and under control. Lunge, inhale, left foot goes back, knee down to the floor. Hands can be on the floor, on the thigh, or up in the air. Send the hips towards the front of the mat. Getting an opening in the front of the left hip here. Take a huge breath in, send it into the front of the hip area. And on the exhale, send the hips a little bit further forward towards the front of the mat. Inhale into a plank. Many options here. Tabletop being the simplest. Or the knees can be further back, so the upper back is flat. Or you can come up onto the toes. Whichever version of plank you're using, press into the floor. Take a huge breath in and a long breath out. Another breath in and lower down slowly. Bring the hands in front of the shoulders and inhale into a low cobra. Lifting the chest up and pulling it forwards. Exhale into a downward facing dog. The first downward facing dog of the day. Inhale, lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, stretch the heels down towards the floor. Let the head relax, but feel for strong points of contact in the hands and the feet. Lunge, inhale, left foot steps forward, right knee comes down. If that motion's a bit complicated, adjust the front knee to a position that works for you, and the hands can again be on the floor, on the thigh, or up in the air. Send the hips towards the front of the mat. Take a huge breath in, send that into the front right side of the hip. Exhale, send the hip towards the front, feeling for an opening in that area. Inhale, let the shoulders and shoulder blades come down the back. Exhale, come into a forward bend. Right leg comes to meet left foot. Head relaxes down. Inhale, slowly coming up. Arms up. Feet active. Exhale, hands in front of heart. Let's do another round on the other side. This will be a right leg round, so right leg will go back, right leg will come forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, come into a forward bend. Hinging at the hips, bending the knees if that helps. Hands don't have to go onto the floor at all. They can be on the thighs, on the shins, on blocks even. You touch the floor, then touch the floor. Lunge, inhale, right leg goes back. Hands again can be on the floor, on the thigh, or up in the air. Send the hips towards the front of the mat. Huge breath in. Lift the collarbones up towards the ceiling. Exhale, let the shoulders and shoulder blades come down the back. Inhale, come into a plank, your version of plank for today. Press the hands into the floor, whichever version you're doing. Exhale and keep pressing. Take another huge breath in. Exhale, lower down slowly. Keeping the elbows in towards the rib cage if you can. Hands move forward, inhale into a low cobra, lifting the chest up and forwards. Press the feet into the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking your time to make your way up into here. Taking a long breath in, downward facing dog. And a long breath out. Lunge, inhale, right foot comes forward, left knee comes down. Adjust the position of the right foot if it doesn't make it as far forward as it feels good. And then the hands can be on the floor, on the thigh, or up in the air. Take a big breath in, feel the chest ballooning, making the spine long. Exhale, come into a forward bend, so left foot comes to meet right foot. And inhale, straightening the body up, arms lift up. Exhale, hands in front of heart. Let's move into a warrior one. So you're already standing at the front of the mat. And step the left foot back. A good 3.5, maybe 4 feet if you're tall. Inhale, turn the hips so they're facing the short end of the mat. Exhale, bend the knee on the right leg. Arms can be down on the thigh or up in the air. Wrap the shoulder blades. Shoulder blades come round the rib cage towards the front. This is a funny, odd move, but the one way I feel thinking about it is to send my armpits forwards. Grounding through strong legs. Bringing the arms down, we'll do some shoulder shrugs. Huge breath into the upper back. Hold the breath, shoulders come straight up, shoulders go straight back. Keeping the arms floppy. Exhale, drag the shoulder blades down the back. It's a long move. Feel the neck getting long, the head lifting up a little bit. Huge breath in, squeeze the middle shoulder blades together. Exhale and drag them down the back. Yes. Inhale into the back. Pinch bottom tips of shoulder blades together. Use the elbows to do this. Squeeze them together. Exhale, drag them down the back. Everybody bend that knee on that right leg just a little bit more, bringing the knee over the ankle. We'll do one more set of shoulder shrugs. Huge breath in. Hold the breath, shoulders up, shoulders back. Squeeze tops of shoulder blades together. Exhale, drag them down the back. Massive breath in. Squeeze middles of shoulder blades together. Exhale and drag them down the back. Big breath in again. Squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades together. Squeeze them. Exhale, drag them down as far as they go. Bird wing arms. Bring the hands in front, elbows bent. Elbows are in to the rib cage. So your elbows, you're tucking them in. Hands are in front like you're holding a big tray of sandwiches or coffee or whatever your favorite snacks and beverages are. Inhale and bring the hands together, widening the hands, spreading the fingers. Exhale, send the hands towards the sides, out towards the sides, keeping the elbows tucked in. This is a movement in the upper arm. Inhale, bring the hands together. Exhale, send the hands apart. in the direction of the thumbs. One more. Inhale, hands come together. Exhale, move the hands apart. Let the arms come down. Step to the front of the mat. And we'll do those three on the other side. Step the right leg back. 3, 4 feet apart. Feel for this leg being strong and grounded into the mat. Try and get the heel down if possible. The toes are turned out towards the side a little bit like this, so that you're getting a strong, stable base. Turn towards the short end of the mat and bend the knee in front. Arms can be down on the thigh or up in the air. If you've got the arms up, keep the shoulders and shoulder blades down the back. Wrap the shoulder blades around the rib cage. Sending the armpits forwards. But keeping the face, the neck, and the jaw relaxed. Bring the arms down. Let them hang by the side. Shoulder shrugs. Huge breath in. Shoulders up, shoulders back. Squeeze top tips of shoulder blades together. Exhale, drag them down the back. See if they're looser than they were the first time when we did this on the other side. Big breath in. Squeeze middles of shoulder blades together. Squeeze them. Exhale, drag them down the back. Big breath in. Squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades together. Use the elbows if that helps. Exhale, drag them down the back. That's not a big movement. It's a very small movement. One more round. Inhale into the back. Shoulders come up, shoulders go back. Squeeze tops, tips of shoulder blades together. Exhale, drag them down the back. That's the biggest movement. Big breath in. Squeeze middles of shoulder blades together. Exhale, drag them down the back. That's a much smaller movement. And one last one. Big breath in. Bottom tips of shoulder blades together. Using the elbows. Exhale, drag them down. It's mostly just a movement of feeling the arms getting a little bit heavy. Bird wing arms. Hands out in front. Spreading the hands. Again, this idea that you've got a big tray in front. And you're trying to keep the tray level. Inhale, bring the hands together, spreading the fingers. Exhale, arms move out to the side, keeping the elbows tucked in. And this rotation is entirely in the upper arm. Inhale, bring the hands together. Exhale, send them out to the side. One more, inhale, back to the middle. And exhale, out to the side. Let the arms hang down. Step back to the front of the mat. And give everything a bit of a shake. See if the shoulder blades, how they feel. Shoulders, how they feel. Arms. Let's do some poses in Warrior Two. So step your feet out so they're good 3 or 4 feet apart. In this position, feel for activating the inner leg lines. And if you can really notice what's happening to my ankles here, there's a tendency for the ankles to roll outwards. When I activate the inner legs, the ankle straightens out, and I feel like I'm getting a much stronger base to my Warrior Two in this position here. Turn the left toes so they're facing towards the short end of the mat. Right toes come in a little bit. How much they come in depends on how much flexibility you've got. Inhale, turn the chest is facing the long end of the mat. Exhale, arms come up to the side and bend the knee on the left leg. Let's do kite hawk arms here. Take a big breath in and turn the hands so the palms are facing towards the sky. Chest lifts up, head goes back a little bit. Exhale, rotate the arms, hands come forward, elbows lift up around the back, head comes forward. Inhale, rotate the arms. This isn't really so much of a movement in the arms, it's actually, you can feel the shoulders and shoulder blades moving up and down the spine. Exhale, roll the shoulder blades up the back, arms roll, head comes forward. Inhale, up towards the sky. Exhale, rolling the arms forward, shoulder blades come up the back, head hangs down. Inhale, palms up. Let the arms come down. Extended warrior variation. Take your right hand, scoop it behind your back. Catch hold of the thigh on the opposite side if you're that flexible. If not, catch hold of the back of your leggings or joggers or something. And feel for that there's an opening up in the right chest area here, so that there isn't a rounding or collapsing, that you're using the arm to actually open out there. Inhale, lift the spine up, make length in the spine. And then on the exhale, bring the left forearm down onto the left thigh, keeping that length in. Choose a spot for the head, whether it's looking down at the foot, down at the floor in front of you, or straight ahead. So inhale into the top right-hand side of the chest. Exhale, roll the chest open. Inhale, feel for making the spine long. Exhale, bring the shoulders and shoulder blades down the back again. Inhale, come back into a warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. Right hand comes down onto right leg. Left arm comes up and over. Feel for wrapping the shoulder blade. So the shoulder blade comes around the front of the chest. So this arm here is actually in front. It's not overhead direct, it's in front. Feel for sending the elbow, making the upper arm long, sending it forwards. Taking a huge breath in, all the way down into the feet. And exhale out any tension, any tightness, any gripping or holding that you encounter on that breath. Inhale back into a warrior two, bring the arms down. And we'll bring the feet so they're parallel and then turn the other way to do those three poses on the other side. Right toes out, left toes in. Bend the knee on the right leg and the arms come up. Kite hawk arms. Inhale, turn the palms up towards the ceiling, opening the chest out. Exhale, roll the shoulder blades up the back. Arms turn forward, elbows towards the ceiling, head comes down. Inhale, open your arms out, open the chest up towards the ceiling. Head lifts up. Exhale, roll the elbows forward, shoulder blades up the back, head comes down. One more huge breath in. And big exhale out. Let the arms hang down. Extended warrior variation. Left arm scoops behind, catches hold of something. Inhale, lengthen the chest. Then lengthen the spine. Again, turn so the chest is towards the long end of the mat. Preload this side of the shoulder by using the arm to grip onto the leggings. Exhale everything out. Then take a big breath in. Bring the forearm down onto the thigh. Exhale out. Good. Inhale into the top left-hand side of the chest, into this area here. Focus on opening that area out, exhaling as you open it out. Bring the head into a position that feels comfortable, looking down at the foot, floor, or in front. Inhale, come out of that. And we'll move into reverse warrior. Left hand on left leg, right arm comes up and over. Wrapping the shoulder blade on that one. So the elbow is forward of the head. So you're sending the elbow and the foot and the upper arm forward and out in front of you. So it's not up here. Much more comfortable place for it to be. Come back into a warrior two. Turn the feet so they're facing forward and heel toe your way to standing. Now before we get into Shavasana, let's do a nice neck release. So sitting on the floor cross-legged on a block, if that helps. Bring your right hand down on the floor by your hip. Stretch the left arm out on an angle down towards the floor and let your right ear come down towards the right shoulder. Make your left arm as heavy as you can. Send the fingertips away from the wrist away from the elbow away from the shoulder, and the shoulder away from the neck. If you still feel like there's tension there, bring the fingertips down so they touch the floor. Let the arm relax and then lift it up a couple of inches. Put the head in whatever place feels good, looking down at the hand, looking forwards, or somewhere in between. Inhale, pick the hand up off the floor, put it underneath the head, and lift yourself up to a vertical position. Let's do that on the other side. Left hand on the floor by the hip, on the fingertips. Stretch the right arm out at an angle away from you. Bring left ear down towards left shoulder blade. Work on making the right arm long and heavy. Fingers away from the wrist, wrist away from the elbow, elbow away from the shoulder, shoulder away from the neck. If that still doesn't work, bring the fingertips down, touch the floor, let the arm relax, and bring it up a couple of inches. Inhale, pick the hand up off the floor, put it underneath the head, and lift the head up. Time for Shavasana. Plenty of options. The traditional Shavasana, lying flat on the back. If flat on the back doesn't work for you, knees can be bent. Let the knees come in together. If that doesn't work, there's lots of options. You can be on a chair, in a couch, in your bed, whatever. Legs up the wall, legs on a chair. This is a few minutes of integrating the practice that you've been doing for the last hour and letting the body come down from the practice, down regulate, finding balance. Shavasana. Start to deepen your breathing. Letting the breath wake up the core, wake up the chest, wake up your center. And let the breath radiate down the arms and the legs into the hands and feet. And then start moving the fingertips and the toes and the arms and the legs. Moving in whatever way feels good for you right now. And then rolling over onto one side. Coming up with a very relaxed neck. And being ready for the day ahead. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the class today, and I hope to see you again real soon. Take care. Goodbye.